Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. And as I'm saying that, it really does feel like a Monday. I'm still sort of waking up. I don't know how you're feeling, Jesse. I don't think your GoPro is on, so we can't see you. But Jesse's there. Jesse's running the board. So happy he is. A lot to talk about. We finally had a game. We have a game that we can talk about. It's a preseason game, sure. But I think all of Denver, all of Colorado was focused on this game, focused on what's happening around the game, focusing on who will be that starting quarterback. So let's just dive into it. We're going to talk about the Broncos versus the Green Bay Packers. It was a promising game, a 27-2 win by the Broncos. That is something probably no one has seen in a very, very long time. I have to say, the Packers were playing mostly with their backups, while the Broncos were playing full force. Only 3 preseason games, so a lot of teams are doing things a little bit differently. Some teams use their first game to scout the ways they have to run. Some teams use their second game to do that. Some teams use their first or second game right away to put all their starters in and see how well they're doing. Well, that was what the Broncos did yesterday. The Packers definitely didn't. It looks like the Packers might do that in the next preseason game. Nonetheless, it was 27-2, which is still very convincing for the Broncos and promising, and shows that they might be on the right path for the first time in a long while. Sean Payton, he liked what he saw. He also saw Bo Nix have a really strong game, but he still didn't want to say anything about who will be that starting position. We have a video about that.
Hey, Sean, has Bo Nix done enough to win the starting quarterback job in your view?
Well, listen, he's played well. I'm not announcing any starting quarterback tonight, or I'll let you guys know when the time comes. But I thought he played well. You know, the one penalty, which was, right on the line, it was tough. It was good. It was a pretty heads-up play. He did a good job at the line of scrimmage with some checks. You feel his comfort level as he continues to get used to the calls coming in, and you kind of feel the poise when he's playing, and the other two the same way. I said this last week. I like the room.
Coach, you told Katie Adams the band still has to play a couple more times, using that metaphor, knowing it's not done yet. How's the band sounding? How are things progressing?
Listen, this is all right. Putting the cap on the Bo questions right here. The band sounds pretty good. I'm not dancing. Listen, there are a lot of things we did well as a team. All right, I'm not announcing a starter, and I told you I'll get with you when we do.
Yeah. I like D-Mac, Darren McKee, he was the last reporter you heard asking that question. And I like how D-Mac is asking those questions, because he knows how to get at the coach and the players, but in a respectful way, and always trying to get the answer. And even though he's not saying anything, Sean Payton, you kind of feel that because it means so much to Sean Payton to not say anything, we all know what he's saying. Bo Nix is going to be the starter. There's so much we can talk about. I saw a tweet yesterday also saying, so the only guy that needs to make that decision is the guy that doesn't know yet. We all know Bo Nix is going to be the starter. And I think he cemented it yesterday by just a really strong performance. He had 8 for 9 passes and 80 yards, and he threw for 1 touchdown to Tim Patrick, who's been out for a long, long time. He was back on the field, and he scored a touchdown. It was beautiful. There he is, with the mile-high salute. Bo Nix talked about him too.
Bo, on the touchdown drive, you take us through the sort of deep in cut to Cortland that set you up first and goal, and then also how cool was it to just get Tim in the end zone after he's missed the last 2 seasons with injury?
Yeah, so that was a big, like I said, that was a big second and long, got us a first down. after the penalty. So that was a big explosive play, a good chunk play to get us in the red zone. And then we did a good job of just, finding Tim there in the end zone. Happy for him. Obviously, he's been through a lot. It's not easy to overcome the things that he has, and then to get out there and be able to contribute like he did tonight was just really cool to see. And he's a gamer. He does a really good job when his number's called, and it was good to see him in the end zone.
I love that we're back in season now with games going on where we can just show you guys interviews where we go to the game and we talk to these players and we add something more than just us, our faces talking about stuff. Awesome. That being said, everything is about Bo Nix now. Everyone is so happy with our new rookie quarterback, who's already 24, but still a rookie, that we're almost forgetting that yesterday was a backup team. The Green Bay Packers weren't playing their strongest team, so how much can you really tell from this game? Well, the Green Bay Packers head coach, Matt LaFleur, he had a lot to say because he didn't want to hear anything about backups or not. He said, and I quote, "Certainly I was hoping our guys would come out with more strain, effort, grit after getting humbled the other day in practice," which happened on Friday in joint practice, and then to have it happen again, not where you want to be. So maybe there is more to say about this 27-2 preseason win of the Broncos versus the Green Bay Packers. First home game also this season. Stadium was not very full. That kind of shows me also, someone who doesn't know too much about NFL, that people really don't care about the preseason. Let me know what you think. Anyways, I can talk more and more about the NFL, but I shouldn't because at 2 p.m. we have Off Field, another episode with Liv Moods, Nate Jackson, and Brandon Cristal, and they can really tell you what's going on. I'm just a talking head here. We all know that. All right, moving on. The Colorado Rapids. The Colorado Rapids? Hold on. Wait, we're talking about the Colorado Rapids? We got the Broncos looking really good now. We got the Avalanche still looking really good with maybe Gabe Landeskog coming back this season, our captain. Oh, captain, my captain. And then we have the Nuggets not looking terrible, I guess. And the Rockies, we don't talk about that. But then we have the Rapids, who we usually forget, the fifth biggest pro sports team in Colorado, all the way out in Commerce City. There's a lot of reason to talk about them now. This weekend, they won the Leagues Cup quarterfinal versus Club America in Mexico. Well, what is the Leagues Cup? It is a tournament-style competition between Liga MX, so the Mexican Soccer League, and the MLS, the North American Soccer League. And Liga MX has always been looked at as the big brother, the better competition with more history, better players. I mean, look at how big soccer is in Mexico and how big it still is in the US. There's still a lot of room for growth in the US. This might be the start of that because we just had that picture. The Colorado Rapids now beat 4 different Mexican teams in the Leagues Cup to lead them to the semifinals. Club León, Juarez, Toluca, and the last one this weekend, Club America, which is probably the biggest soccer team in Mexico with a lot of history. And I know people there are not happy that they're losing to the Colorado Rapids, who had their worst season of all time last year. And now they're doing this. They beat them in penalties 9-8 after a 0-0 scoreless game. Eventually, that doesn't matter. The Rapids are in the semifinals playing LAFC this Wednesday. But besides the Leagues Cup, they're also doing really well in the MLS, in the competition. They're 4th now in the Western Conference, which is just incredible if you think about how terrible their season was last year. And it's fun to be a soccer fan in Colorado again. So I would definitely keep an eye out for them and maybe even go to a game this year, support the team when they're doing well so that you can support them when they're doing not as well. And just keep that energy. We like that energy for soccer here in the US, especially in Colorado where we need a lot more of it. All right. Then I've got some short news. It's maybe a new section that we're introducing. I don't know. I feel like it's appropriate to talk about a lot of stuff, and sometimes there's not too much to talk about with some of these segments. So let's quickly gloss over all of this news happening over the weekend, starting with Venue Sports, the new streaming platform by ESPN, Fox, and Warner Bros., which was set to be launched this fall before the NFL season starts. $43 or $42.99 for so much sports. All ESPN, all Fox, which has TNT, I believe, Disney, a lot of stuff. But it might be postponed by at least another year. Not something they wanted to do, but definitely something the competition wanted. Fubo Sports filed an antitrust claim, claiming that Fubo, who's wanted to have a sports package for a very long time, could never get it because those companies right here, who are the founders of Venue Sports, they told Fubo, well, if you want those sports, you also need to include other shows, other stuff in that package. And now they're doing their own thing with only sports. So Fubo was like, we're not doing that. And they won. They won their lawsuit. Venue Sports, ESPN, Fox, and Warner Bros. They're definitely going to appeal. But I don't see them launching anytime soon now, because why would you launch in the middle of the season? It's definitely going to be at least another year. So for sports lovers who are looking forward to a $43 package for basically all sports that they want to watch, bad news, because you're going to have to wait a little longer. Then Cale Makar. The season hasn't started yet, but he is getting headlines because he got married to his longtime sweetheart fiance, Tracy Adams. It was a wedding in Colorado, right? In the Rockies. Beautiful. Mostly fun to see all his teammates there also. You have, that is so small. I know who's in there, but that is Nathan McKinnon, Gabe Landeskog, EJ, Eric Johnson, LOC. You guys probably can see that better than me. There's a lot of players and former teammates of Cale Makar who attended the wedding. So I think Jesse wanted to text real quick. And I hope I'm still here. Not sure if I'm still here. I am. You can hear me. I can't see myself anymore. Anyways, big wedding for Cale Makar. So happy for him. But before we turn this daily sports show into a daily gossip and entertainment show, let's move on. We are staying in NHL, though, because Yaroslav Askarov, the most promising goalie in all of the NHL, wants to leave his team, the Nashville Predators. Here's the story. Everyone was expecting him to take over from the Predators' starting goalie, Jussi Saros, a really good goalie, I have to say. But Saros just signed an 8-year extension with the Predators this summer. So Askarov was told, well, you can play with our AHL affiliate, the Milwaukee Admirals. And Askarov, who he would be a really good goalie for most teams in the NHL, said, well, I'm not playing in the AHL anymore. I want my chance. And if I can't get it here, I want it somewhere else. So he asked for a trade. Colorado Avalanche can still use a goalie. They've got Georgiev, who has been at least debated last season. You have Jussi Zananen, not really good enough. Prosvetov is back in the KHL in Russia. And we have some prospects now that we have drafted, or that the Avalanche have drafted during the last draft. But I think Askarov could be a really strong addition to this Avalanche team. There's probably a lot of teams that think that. So if you want to know more about that, at noon, I'm just advertising all of our shows. We should do this more often. At noon, we have Jesse Montano, who's now behind the board, talking about all of this in Off Ice. And I'm really curious what he has to say. So tune in for that. Moving on, more short news. I feel like this short news is longer than I thought. Gozer Cherelis, the former offensive tackle in the NFL, got arrested yesterday for urinating on a passenger next to him on a plane from Boston to Ireland. I would be so pissed if that happened to me. But really, like, I haven't been following the NFL for too long, but I feel like I've talked more about players and former players getting arrested, getting in trouble with police, than that I'm talking about the actual game. I don't know what went on in his head. I kind of hope he was drunk, although that doesn't make it any better, especially for the person next to him. He got arrested yesterday. He was released on $2,500 of bail. Just letting you know, the guy made almost $37 million in his career. $2,500 bail. He's out. Whatever. I can't believe it. Anyways, moving on. The ESPN had... Do we have a picture of this? Mbappe? The ESPN had a special Mbappe cam this weekend for the game of Real Madrid versus Mallorca. Kylian Mbappe, probably the best player in the world right now, moved to Real Madrid, probably the biggest club. I don't have to say probably, the biggest club in the world right now. The richest soccer club, most valuable soccer club in the world right now. And this was his debut in the La Liga for Real Madrid. So ESPN had a dedicated camera for Mbappe all game long. So if you went to ESPN Plus, you could watch the game, or you could watch Mbappe play the game. That's it. You only saw Kylian Mbappe. I feel kind of bad for whoever did, because they played 1-1. Kylian Mbappe didn't score, and Mallorca, for those who don't know, is not a very good team in the Spanish league. So it's kind of a waste to watch this guy in his debut not do kind of anything. I also saw a tweet or a post on Instagram by ESPN making this really big, and like you had to swipe to see the video, and then the video it was like, oh, watch what Kylian Mbappe did, and it kind of was nothing. But it's probably all they had, and they wanted to promote this, of course, because it was a big deal to them. But I mean, if he doesn't deliver, then that is what it is. Too bad. I think there's still a lot from him to come, a lot from Real Madrid. Their team is unbelievable this year. It really is like an all-star team. It's as if you would send all the best basketball players in the NBA to one tournament to play to get, oh wait, that just happened in the Olympics. Well, that's what you can see every week now with Real Madrid, and I'm not exaggerating, with Jude Bellingham, with Rodrigo, with Vinicius Jr., who I talked about last week, who got offered a $1 billion deal by Saudi Arabia. I think he's going to stay with that dream team, Real Madrid. But my advice would be to just watch the game and not just Mbappe. You can see the highlights on ESPN's Instagram, I guess. All right, a little more soccer, because I am the European kid. But this is actually American soccer, and it's a weird story to me. I do not understand this. This weekend, a new professional women's soccer league was launched in the US, and it's called the USL Super League. That's 4 games over the weekend, and it is the highest tier of US women's soccer. Wait, don't we have one of those already? The NWSL? Yeah, we do. It is the best league, the best women's soccer league in the world. It's been operating for 12 years now. And the USL figured, well, there's room for more, I guess. You do see that women's soccer all over the world, especially in Europe, is being picked up a lot now. And a lot of very big clubs are taking it seriously now. If you think about Barcelona, Arsenal, Manchester United, Bayern Munich, they all have women's soccer teams now too. And you see that also in international soccer. The US women's soccer team was always just considered as the team, the only team that could even get close to just winning every tournament. You had other teams, and they would contend for silver. That has changed a little bit because of how serious Europe is taking women's soccer now. And the NWSL is, in my opinion, still the best women's soccer league. But it's got to be careful not to just sit in the back seat and see where it's leading them. And now you have a different league starting in the US, a direct competitor who are on the same level in the soccer pyramid. It's kind of exemplary of how the US Soccer Federation has been running a lot of things. They just signed Pochettino as the men's head coach for the US men's team, which is probably the best thing they've done in forever. Other than that, the US has never really taken soccer seriously, and the one federation who should take it seriously is the Soccer Federation, who should have the best interest at hand, who should look out for what would be best to grow the sport. Meanwhile, they've mostly been focusing on getting money, getting big players to play in the MLS, but like big players who were almost retired, just to get more fans in the stands. It has helped the MLS grow, but it would benefit the MLS so much more if you had more young players being able to reach that level instead of getting all those big old names from Europe. It should be built up from the bottom up, and the Soccer Federation has never really focused on that. They've focused too much on money, in my opinion, and too little on the development of the sport in this country. And I guess with the NWHL, the USL saw an opportunity there, because the same thing is kind of happening in the NWHL. They're stagnant. They don't match up to the European leagues anymore, who are growing fast, who are investing a lot of money and a lot of time into developing women's soccer. Still, I don't think it's a good thing to do, to have two leagues. Even if there is an opportunity, it's not good for the sport to have two leagues that are the same level, do the exact same thing, poaching players from each other, poaching fans from each other. That being said, let's follow what's to come and see how the USL Super League is going to hold up, and how the NWHL is going to react to it. I don't think it's a good thing. Anyways, I've got one more thing I want to talk about. The Mike Tyson fight with Jake Paul is going to happen. No, it's actually going to happen this time. For real. This YouTuber is going to beat up an old man, or this very famous old boxer, kickboxer, is going to beat up this YouTuber. Either way, it's a stupid idea. Sorry. But it's actually happening. It was scheduled to be fought on July 20th, but Mike Tyson had an ulcer flare up, so they had to postpone the match. Now they will fight on November 15th. And they had a little altercation yesterday during the next press conference. I think we can play that now. He's just having fun with it. Don't forget, Mike Tyson I think he's 59 years old. He is 58 years old. What am I saying? He's not old. He's 58. Going to fight Jake Paul. Paul didn't think it was that funny, pushing back. But I feel like Mike Tyson just isn't taking him seriously. He also said something along the lines of, why wouldn't we do this? He's going to fight the best fighter of all time. He doesn't stand a chance. Jake Paul, on the other hand, he has been making waves in the boxing and kickboxing and the fighting scene. If I look up the internet, and there's stories about like which influencer, YouTuber has gained the most trust from the fan base or most respect from the fan base, his name usually comes up because he does put in the work. But he also only has like 3, 4, 5 years experience. It just feels weird to me. Why would a YouTuber turned fighter fight a 58-year-old retired fighter? I mean, who's to gain? Oh, wait, them. Jake Paul said he's going to make $40 million for fighting Mike Tyson. I get it now. I wish I could fight Mike Tyson. Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing about YouTubers turning fighters, also the influencer boxing fights, I don't think it's a very good image for boxing and fighting in general. It's being taken less seriously. Yes, you have more eyes on the sport, but how many of those eyes really care about the sport and the integrity of the sport and about tactics and about everything that comes with being a serious fighter, a serious athlete? It feels like it's more and more entertainment and less sport. I don't blame the influencers for doing it. If they can make that much money for just one fight, it is entertaining. I don't think it's good for the fighting sport. But who am I? I'm just some guy from the Netherlands in Colorado giving my opinion. It is what it is. This is the world we live in. And with that being said, that concludes today's Guerilla Sports Daily. I'm so happy you were with us for 26 minutes. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you have a great week. And don't forget to tune in at noon, where Jesse Montano is going to talk about everything Yaroslav Askarov and if he would be a good fit for the Colorado Avalanche. And then at 2 p.m. with Liv Moods, Nate Jackson, Brendan Cristal, our all-star team, talking about everything football in off-field, talking about the Broncos win versus the Packers, Bo Nix, Sean Payton, everything you need to know, everything you want to know. And I'll see you next week, Wednesday. We'll see. Thank you for watching.